Hello and welcome to this quick introduction to the LandXML Surface Import add-on for Blender. My name is Darren, and in the next few minutes I'll show you how to install the add-on and then import both existing and proposed LandXML surfaces, complete with triangles, breakline features, and user-defined major and minor contours. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is install the add-on. Like all Blender add-ons, installing the LandXML Surface Import add-on is a breeze. Simply go to Blender's File pull-down menu and select User Preferences, and select the Add-ons tab at the top. Click the button at the bottom of the window labeled Install Add-on from File, and then navigate to the location on your computer where you've saved the add-on's zip file. Highlight the file and then click the button at the top of the window that says Install Add-on from File. I'm just going to click Cancel here because I've already got the add-on installed. Back on the Add-ons window in User Preferences, search for the new add-on using the text field by entering the search term LAND. When you see the Import-Export LandXML Surface Import entry appear, make sure the box next to it is checked. This enables the add-on for your current session of Blender. If you want the add-on to be active every time you run Blender, click the Save User Settings button at the bottom of the window. We can close the User Preferences window now, and we're ready to import our first LandXML surface. Go back to Blender's File pull-down menu and select the Import category, and then LandXML Surface. On the next screen, navigate to the location of your LandXML Surface file. Single-click the name of the file so we can look at the settings before we do the import. I'll just run through these settings from top to bottom. First, we have the Report Only checkbox, which is unchecked by default. When checked, the add-on will not import the selected LandXML surface, but will instead print statistics about the surfaces contained in the file onto Blender's console window. Next, we have a filter text field. This can be used to import specific surfaces from LandXML files that contain more than one. By entering specific names or partial names into this field, only surfaces matching the pattern will be imported. Standard wildcard characters like the asterisk and question mark characters are allowed as well. Next on the list, we have the Coordinate Shift section. Like most 3D programs, Blender works best when everything in the scene is oriented around the center near coordinate 0, 0. However, most surface models used in civil engineering projects are defined using real-world coordinates that are a long way from 0, 0, so the add-on offers a number of options for centering your data. The default method is called bounds, and it calculates the bounding box of the imported surface and then places the center of that box at the center of the Blender scene. If this method is used to import multiple surfaces simultaneously, the add-on centers the largest surface object and then places the remaining surfaces using the same coordinate shift value. The next method is called CV Object. It uses a previously imported surface or other Civil Visions object to orient the imported surfaces. We'll see how that works in a minute. Next, we have a button that allows for custom values to be entered to shift the imported surfaces by northing, easting, and elevation values. And finally, we have the option to not shift the imported surfaces at all. The Unit Scaling section provides automated scaling of the imported surfaces. When using the Bounds Coordinate Shift method, checking this box will automatically scale the imported surface to match the units set in the Blender scene. If your Blender scene units are set to an imperial unit, and you're importing a LandXML surface that's in metric, the add-on will take care of scaling it correctly for you. Finally, we have the Draw section. We have the option whether to create the triangle mesh, to draw any breakline features, and to draw major and minor contours. And here we can select the spacing of major contours and how many minor contours fall between each major contour pair. The Smooth Contours option will apply a level of rounding to the contours as they're created. This is optional and will work best with smoothly rolling terrain surfaces. So that covers our import options. So let's import our first surface. We'll leave all these settings at their defaults, select the LandXML file that contains our terrain, and then click the Import LandXML Surface button at the top of the window. Depending on the size of the LandXML file, it may take a couple of seconds to import the surface and, if necessary, build the contours. And here we have our imported existing surface. If you're rotating around the surface and notice that things seem to get cut off like this, don't worry, there's nothing wrong. You just need to adjust your view depth settings. To do that, use the N key to bring up the Properties panel and adjust the distance cutoff value until your entire surface is shown. Now let's see what we have. We have the imported surface model, which is created as a mesh object. We also have two contour objects, one for the major contours and one for the minors. And if you look in the outliner, you'll see that these objects have been given names that have the surface's name as it's stored in the LandXML file. In this case, the surface we imported had the name Existing. Now let's import the proposed design surface for this project. We'll go back to Blender's File pull-down menu and select Import LandXML Surface. We'll select the LandXML file that contains the proposed surface and click the Import LandXML Surface button again. And whoops, that surface didn't come in at the correct location. I happen to know that the proposed surface belongs up here in this area. What happened? Well, this goes back to the coordinate shift settings. When we imported the proposed surface, we had left the coordinate shift method set to bounds, so the add-on simply centered the proposed surface in the scene. This isn't what we want. We want the proposed surface to be imported using the same coordinate shift values that were used for the existing surface. Let's delete the proposed surface objects that were just created and try again. To do that, we'll first need to select one of the objects from the existing surface, either the mesh, the break line features, or the contours. I'll just right-click on the surface mesh to select it. We'll go back to the File, Import, LandXML Surface, and select the LandXML file containing the proposed surface again. This time, we'll change the coordinate shift method to CVObject, which will read the coordinate shift values stored with our selected existing surface and apply the same shift when it imports the proposed model. And there we go, the proposed model is brought in using the same coordinate shift and scaling properties as the existing model, so they line up perfectly. In a future video, we'll add materials and rendering, but I do want to quickly point out an important step regarding the display of the contour elements. The major and minor contours are built using Blender curve objects with default thickness applied. If you want to change the thickness of a contour object, just select it and then access the Object Data section in the Properties panel. By adjusting the bevel depth value, you can increase or decrease the thickness of the contour to your liking. That'll wrap up this quick introduction to the LandXML Surface add-on from Civil Visions. And be on the lookout for future Blender add-on releases from Civil Visions that will include support for horizontal and vertical geometry, topographical survey, underground drainage structures and utilities, traffic simulations, and more. This is Darren from Civil Visions, and I'll see you in the next video.